Hello, friends. The 992nd day of the war between Russia and Ukraine continues. By the end of the week, two trends threatening the Ukrainian armed forces had emerged near Kurakhove. The first was the consolidation of Russian forces in the village of Sontsivka, northwest of Kurakhove. From there, it was less than 4 kilometers to the village of Stary Turny, the capture of which would mean the de facto blockade of the city from the western side. In addition, as a Ukrainian military man with the call sign Muchnoi wrote, reaching the heights south of Sontsivka would complicate the situation in Kurakhove as a whole. The enemy is breaking through to Stary Turny, not only from the north, but also from the east, storming the village of Berestki. Today it became known that the dam of the Kurakhove reservoir was blown up in Stary Turny. Ukraine claims that it was destroyed by Russian shelling in order to complicate the logistics of the Ukrainian armed forces west of Kurakhove. Russian telegram channels claim that the explosion was carried out by Ukrainian troops in order to hinder Russia's advance through the flooded territory. At the same time, the Russians are entering the outskirts of Kurakhove from the east, trying to gain a foothold and accumulate forces. Today we received information that the enemy in 2 armored combat vehicles broke through to school number 3. According to Ukrainian experts, the fate of those who broke through is still unknown. Also, the Ukrainian military reported today that the Russians are advancing westward towards the Dnipropetrovsk region and northwestward towards Pokrovsk along the highway from Selidovy. At the same time, according to the Muchnoi fighter, the neighboring villages of Grigorievka and Petriivka are surrounded. The second trend is the Russians' attempts to cut off the Ukrainian salient southeast of Kurakhove. The offensive there began the other day, and at the moment, the Russians have captured almost half of the pocket territory. The situation in the area of the settlements of Antoniivka, Kateriniivka, and Yelizavetivka is the most dangerous, according to the military telegram channel Deep State, since a threat is created to the rear of the Ukrainian defense along the Suhy-Yali River. It is this river that the Russian offensive from the south in the area of Trudovy has now run into. By the way, in the evening Deep State reported the storming of the village of Downy. According to him, a significant number of enemy infantry were landed on the outskirts of the village. The situation is difficult, the results of the battles are being clarified, the telegram channel reported. Russia's advance to the west has also slowed down near Yasnopoliana and Maksimivka, where there have been no significant offensives for several days. Russian military telegram channels attribute this to the need to bring up reserves, as well as to the transfer of new units of the Ukrainian army to this direction. The southern direction towards the villages of Roslav and Konstantinopol was and remains potentially the most threatening for Ukraine, since it can block the entire Kurakhove group of the armed forces of Ukraine from the west. From the south, in the area of the key highway, the defensive fortifications of the Ukrainian army there leave much to be desired, as the military telegram channel Deep State writes. But apparently, the Ukrainian Army Command understands this, and reinforcements are now being sent there. At the same time, the situation remains dangerous for the Ukrainian troops. Firstly, the highway from Kurakhove, along which the city is supplied, is already under direct attack from Russian barrel artillery. It is 6 and 9 kilometers from the north and south, respectively, with an artillery range of 25 to 30 kilometers. Secondly, Russia's breakthrough to the highway is more a matter of time, given that the Russians are approaching it from different directions. According to Ukrainian military expert Mashevitz, the Kurakhove salient is the closest to being eliminated. And the military telegram channel Deep State claims that a catastrophe is brewing in the Kurakhove direction, since the Russians are managing to outflank the city, attacking from the north, south, and east in order to cut off the main supply roads. We must remind you once again that lies will destroy us all, but even in attracting additional resources arriving in the Kurakhove area, questions arise about the adequacy of deployment. With such actions, losing control over Kurakhove remains a matter of time. And if the problem with the flanks is not yet under control, then very soon it will turn into another catastrophe, Deep State summarizes. Judging by the map of the Telegram channel, the advance of the Russians near Kurakhove over the past 10 days has indeed been fast. Today, Sky News, citing the spokesman for the Southern Defense Forces Voloshin, reported that the Russians could begin assaults in the Zaporizhia region within a few days. According to Voloshin, the attacks could create a new pressure point for the Ukrainian military, who are already retreating in the east. Although it is not yet clear whether this will be one large-scale offensive by the Russians or separate assaults. The assaults could begin in the near future. We are not even talking about weeks. We expect this to happen any day, said the speaker. He added that Russian troops in this area significantly outnumber the Ukrainian military. The Ukrainian military has already begun to write about the enemy's offensive in the south. Thus, a lieutenant of the Ukrainian armed forces with the call sign Alex reports that on the left flank from Guliapoli, the enemy has made significant advances today and was able to advance several kilometers. Deep State also reported in the evening that today is a difficult day for the Ukrainian Defense Forces units near Makharivka and Rivnopol. The enemy is carrying out assault operations with forces of up to 50 to 60 soldiers at a time, as well as with the support of combat armored vehicles and motorcycle units. Meanwhile, the Russians published a photo with their flag in Makharivka. The Ukrainian side has not confirmed this information. Friends, this channel exists solely thanks to your support. If you have the opportunity and desire to support the channel, I will be very grateful to you. Thank you very much and see you in the next video.